order. Now, this isn't on our agenda thing here, but we're gonna do the moment of silence and pledge if you don't care. So if everybody will, please stand. We'll have a moment of silence. While we have this, Bill is not with us tonight. His brother passed away last week, and they had the receiving of the friends and services and stuff, so he's not here. The director, as you can see, has left an absence. He is he out of the hospital yet?
Yes, he's home.
He's come home. He had kidney problems, pneumonia, a little bit of everything over the weekend, so he's not with us. And then we've also found out that County Commissioner John Neal Scarlett, he had went into the hospital for open heart surgery, I believe it was, and he's not doing too well right now. So if when we have this moment of silence, please remember those folks. So if you will. Thank you for that. We'll do the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for that. Now, we got some recognitions here to get through, so I'm going to have the Assistant Director of Schools, Al George. You're going to handle all this good stuff for us.
Well, this is the fun part, so thank you for letting us do this. Miss Walke's going to help me here. We're going to start with recognizing our district level teachers of the year, so I'll let you get started since the first one is elementary.
So our first K through 4 district level teacher of the year is Leslie Vines. She's not here with us tonight, but I do want to talk about Leslie. And Mr. Day, if you could join me and accept her certificate since she's at your school, so you can come on up here. Ms. Vines has been with Jefferson County Schools for 16 years. She teaches English to students who speak other languages. She has 9 different languages at Jefferson Elementary right now, including Japanese, Chinese, and Spanish. One thing about Mrs. Vines, her learning environment is just fantastic. There's lots of visuals. So when you're teaching students English, you're showing a lot of pictures, you have a lot of interaction, a lot of videos, and so her room is really colorful and it's got lots of visuals. She's very interactive with her kids, singing songs, getting those manipulatives, having kids move their body, all the things that make learning exciting. She also co-teaches with other teachers at Jefferson Elementary, so she pushes into the classroom and works with other teachers and does an excellent job at that. She's loved at Jefferson Elementary, and we are so proud of her, and we're happy to recognize her as our Teacher of the Year for pre-K through 4. Do we want to take a picture, I guess, without her here?
Yeah.
Just do the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. I also get the privilege of announcing one more District Teacher of the Year, and that is Pam Oaks, so I'll have her come on up. So, Pam has been teaching for 18 years. She's been at Piedmont Elementary this entire time. She's currently teaching 5th grade social studies and science. Pam is one of the coolest people I know. She totally is. So Pam goes to all the national parks. She's been to like half of them in the nation, maybe 34, 35 out of 63. She's hiked the Smoky Mountains National Trail, so that's 900 miles. She's done that, all of them, twice, and she's on her third time around. You have a book character dress up day. She's going to go all out. You might even see her in roller skates. Kind of happens. She's very inspirational. She actually has taught both of my daughters. Very few teachers just how that worked out. had them both. And, you know, they would come home and want to do the hiking thing. They would want to do all the things that she would talk about. They would tell me the stories. She's very much a storyteller and an entertainer, and she's just a lot of fun. So the kids love her. You know, the teachers love her. She is just an asset to our school district. Also, she is a runner. She beat me in a race last year. Yes, so we had the Jefferson County for one of our health initiatives. We had a fun, 5K, and boy, Pam went at it. She pulled first place for all the women. So congratulations, Pam. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
And Miss Allen, if you want to join us, we'll take a picture. What? Okay. Are you coming?
Where are we? Here's good. It's good.
Thank you.
And I have the pleasure of introducing our 9 through 12 Teacher of the Year, Miss Lanny O'Connor. So can you come up here? Lanny is probably one of my all-time favorite people. I mean, just a real inspiration for a lot of reasons. I did not know a few things about her. I did not know that she initially had no intention of getting into teaching. She was actually a journalism major. And just randomly, I guess, moved here and said, I guess I'll sign up to be a, I'll substitute teach. And then suddenly she found herself teaching. So the last 11 years, correct, you have been
In service learning,
in service
14
learning.
years at the high
14
school.
years at the high school. Service learning teacher for 11. If you don't know what our service learning program does, you should most definitely check it out. It is a very unique experience for kids. Kids love her class. They want to take her class more frequently. If you're not following it on Instagram, you should be, because you can see all of the things that they do. She has just developed our young adults into our kids, our high school kids, into young adults who enjoy working with other people, giving their time. Basically, those students work in all sorts of different organizations throughout the county. How many different organizations would you say?
At times it can be like 30.
Okay, and they give their time, they do different things. I've seen several of them over here moving boxes back in over here after renovations have been complete. You see them cleaning up trash and, at the park or at the lake or wherever. So they do lots of different things. Lots of kids want to take her class more than once. And if they do, she requires them to do a capstone project, which is something that they come up with. One of the capstone projects, Lanny, in her article, if you haven't read that article, it's great, but talked about, sometimes students will come up with a capstone project that maybe doesn't seem like it's going to get any traction, but one of those was the prom, the senior prom.
Senior citizen.
Senior
Yeah.
citizen prom, and it has really taken off, and our senior citizens love it. So, and it just showcases our students and what good kids we have in this district. It also showcases just that partnership that we have with all of those organizations, but also it showcases Miss Lanny as a leader, and she's a very inspirational person, kind, gentle, the exact person we would want leading our kids. So, congratulations. Nobody from the high school can be here because they're in district tournament, and I think we're having a district FEMA
Yeah.
thing.
It was, every spot was taken when I was
Yes.
leaving. So
Yes.
they're busy.
Yeah.
So we'll just take a picture.
The next thing that we would like to recognize, you see a lot of students here. I'm so glad that some of them could make it. I don't know that we'll have everyone here, but we spoke with you guys a couple months ago about J Create, which was an initiative that one of our teachers, Miss Mina Blaylock, brought to us a while back. And so we kind of started small. We started with our middle schools. Our hope is to expand to high school and elementary school as well. But we just had our initial inauguration of that trail. And so we have several students who submitted artwork or literature that they wanted to be published, poems or short stories, things like that. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely look at it because it is amazing what our kids can do. So these are our young authors, our young artists. We're going to start by recognizing, and I am going to probably ask principals to come and pronounce some names because I'm not sure if I'll say them correctly. But let's start with Jefferson Middle School. Do we have a principal from Jefferson Middle here tonight? Come on, Mr. Lynn. What we'll do is we will call out our students and then we'll take a picture. And I don't know if all of our teachers are here, but I also want to recognize the teachers who submitted some of their things. So we'll start with Jefferson Middle, and I'm going to let you.
Thank you, Emily.
Okay.
Miss Emily.
And we're going to give them a certificate, and if you guys will stay up here, we'll take a picture, a group picture, okay? Thank you, Miss Emily.
Dinesh Patel. Good, I probably mispronounced it. Renan. How do you say your last name?
Yeah, there you go.
Apollonis.
Say it again.
Apollonis.
Apollonis.
Thank you.
I knew that.
I actually did say that one right when I was trying to.
You picked the wrong person. Jackson Courtney. Robert Bird. Madison Seal. Isaiah Lippman. I saw Isaiah. Yeah, there he is. Presley Bryant. There's Presley. And then Roy Ramirez. There it is.
All right, guys, if we want to get a picture all together, we'll probably need to like scrunch it together.
Can I get a minute?
Yes, you
Oh,
will.
okay.
Come on in, Miss Walkie, because you've
First
been a part of
artist.
this. It's middle school, but Miss Walkie kind of
We don't
got the
have
ball
any,
rolling.
like, teachers, we also want to recognize
Yeah.
Maggie Reed,
Thank you.
Sarah Garrison, and Thomas Grantham, if any of them are here, that helped our young
That
people
helps
submit.
some of these things, so.
Okay.
Wiggle it,
And then we'll get these,
We'll see which ones they look.
Gotta get my good side.
all right.
I think Amy's got us there.
Any
Three
parents
things
want to
we need to-
get another picture?
Did you hear those three teachers?
Thank you guys so much. We love you. Miss Emily, would you like to come up and, you wouldn't?
I'm going to help Miss Blaylock to come on up and help out.
And Miss Blaylock has done, again, she's our brainchild here. She's the one who came up with this and very creative, so we'll let you guys call those names.
Leon is not here. Jada Brady. Harley Miller. Ezekiel Bryant. Noel Donikowski.
Kayla Dodson. All right. Next is Rush Strong, and I see Miss Sarah in the audience. Do you want to come up and? No? She's a little shy, but she's here to support her students.
Right. Well, Harper Knight. Now, should we bring that up?
Yeah, we should.
We should.
Let her get up here.
Alicia Cagle. I saw anybody else. Esther Kelly. Didn't see her. And Josie Mundy. Didn't see her. So it's just me and Harper tonight.
I think I know that girl.
Come on up. She'd much rather have her picture made with her teacher than somebody she doesn't know. Okay, and White Pine. And the teachers who submitted from White Pine, Miss Melissa Aaron, I forgot to mention, submitted some names for, Rush Strong. Lori Hughes and Michael Horner, they're not here tonight, are they? Okay, they submitted names for White Pine.
Ashley Gilliam. Emma. Samantha Jornigan. And Angela Fincher.
Okay, great. Yes, thank you, thank you. So, I encourage you again, get on our website, it's jc-net /jcreate, I think. JC, that's the old one, isn't it? jc-tn.net /jcreate. But if you're on campus at our middle schools, you'll see signs that have QR codes. Please look at those, they're fantastic. They've done a great job. Thank you all.
Good job.
Thank you all for that. We appreciate the hard work that they've put in. Also, you teachers do it here, thumbs up. I know what it's about, I ain't never gonna get there, but thank you all, we appreciate you too.
We have one more who came a little
Okay.
late. Can we just recognize her as well? Not near a work session. Okay. All right, Miss Madison, you can come right up here. Let's get your picture right. Madison Seal from Jefferson Middle School.
director's not here, and, the assistant director said she didn't want to speak on any of this, so. But, Jessica, did you have anything you'd wanna add about the budget items and everything? Or tell us about the budget, or?
On the school side, we're just working along, so I do appreciate your 5-year plan. Always appreciate a 5-year plan. We could go 10 years, I'd be good with that. But other than that, it's just really early. We're waiting on TISA funding. We'll know more on that, hopefully in the next few weeks.
All right, well, thank you. I know that it is, hard time of the year when budget starts rolling around, so we appreciate everything Jessica does and puts into it, and everybody else. I know they're having meetings with all the supervisors and everything, trying to figure stuff out, so we appreciate all that. So, that brings us down to school commissioners' items for discussion, and I'm going to read to you, which is in your packet, what was left to us from the director. And I guess sort of set this up, last Thursday night, we met with our joint county commission committee, and there were 4 school board members there, 3 of us are on the committee, and then there were 8, I believe, county commissioners. 2 of them were on the committee. One of them was not present. Of course, it was snowing and icing and everything like that. So, but we was appreciative of the turnout, and Doug discussed the 5-year plan, and that was well received by the county commission. Several of them spoke to they need to develop themselves a 5-year plan. I think Mr. Snodgrass was talking about that. The need for that. So everybody that had a part in working that 5-year plan up, we sure do appreciate that. I know it was several meetings and a lot of work, but it's a good guidepost and a way forward for us. And as Jessica said, she sure does appreciate them. Maybe we can work on that 10-year one of these days. And then Paul talked about the building and maintenance committee, his hopes and dreams and wishes for that, and y'all meeting tomorrow, correct?
Yep, tomorrow, Mount Horeb at 4:30.
So they're gonna be having their first meeting, and of course that committee is made up of Paul, Coach is on there, Tommy, Austin Bridgewater, and we got some community members and school employees on there as well, 10 of them, and they're going to be working on that. But the one that I guess everybody was waiting for was talking about Jefferson Elementary and what we could do going forward there. And it was, Tommy explained the contracts that are, what we had so far, scopes of work that were put together by the Lewis Group and Blankenship and those numbers, and he talked about what it would take to do each, and then it was a lot of questions and a lot of comments. We cut everybody short at 9:30 so we could get out of there, so we were there for 3 hours talking. It was a productive meeting. And any of y'all that were there, you can sort of jump in here. I felt there were a few big things that came out of it. One, money is tight when it comes to the county and what the county commission can put out there. I don't know exact numbers because there wasn't an exact number put out, but we can't just go in and throw $20 or $30 million at something without, being very intentional with who's putting what are we putting forward, what's county commission willing to put forward, can they put as much forward. I sort of got the feeling that what we might like to have might not be what can be done. I mean, just be truthful, I mean, if any of y'all sort of, whether it, you know, if we wanted $19 million, don't know. If we wanted 15, don't know. It may be lower than that. So that might influence the decision down the road. There was also some talk about, I mean, just everybody sort of put their 2 cents in on what they felt was the best way to go. I mean, there was the usual hang-ups of the fairgrounds. We talked about, you know, the proposal of buying the property, what was it, 19 acres there with the hospital. That was brought up, but then it was, well, how much is that gonna cost to get it actually worked up and ready for a site? And let's see, the big hang up, I would say, is actually what's on here, the Lewis Group contract. There were several county commissioners that brought up a contract with no expiration date, and they felt that it was kind of hamstringing. So they're you know, I think Jimmy Carmichael brought this up and several of them. So if we didn't build a new school, they're saying, and 100 years from now we decide to build one, are we still beholden to this contract? And we were pretty much told that it wasn't gonna happen with Lewis Group. I mean, is that what you sort of?
Yeah, especially with their experience on their end in the past, but that's pretty much what I got from the discussion, that they definitely didn't even want to entertain a new building using Lewis Group.
I would agree, not only in last night, but in just individual conversations with them. I guess the county commission has had some, you know, major questions with some of the contracts that they've gotten into, some of the projects they've done with the Lewis Group. There is definitely not a pro-Lewis Group sentiment on the county commission. I'm not gonna tell you who said this, but a couple of people said, you could bring us a contract for a new school, you know, for nothing. If Lewis Group is on it, we're not gonna vote for it. They all did not say that, but some did. Again, I'm not gonna get in, that's not my wheelhouse, but there was definitely a bias, a definite negative sentiment from many of them on the Lewis Group. I would say, just like you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, the other big thing is money. They have spent the last 4 or 5 years trying to whittle down debt. And Ms. Jessica, I think you could maybe speak to this. And they are very, very adverse, very, very hesitant to go into debt anymore, being that they worked so hard to get that down. So what would be, I got this idea, this idea from what would be available is what they have on hand. And what could be done without raising more taxes because of the problems with raising the wheel tax and property taxes and all that. So that very much hamstrings them, and that hamstrings them and hamstrings us on how much we can spend to do what we need to do. And what Judge said, to do what we want to do, we won't be able to do it. But those were the, you know, as far as this question, the Jefferson Elementary question, that was definitely what I took away from it. I don't think anybody is against renovation. I don't think anybody is against a new school. But a new school with the Lewis Group's name on it is not going to fly on the county commission.
Dawn, you was there, you wanna say anything?
I thought that the meeting went really well. I thought it was productive. It was very informative. I really liked it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. We were there really late.
Yeah, it was a long one. Nobody got no fight rights. There wasn't no harsh words towards anybody, which was good. And how I felt that I knew it was positive was because Jimmy Carmichael said, when are we gonna have the next one? April 17th, by the way, at 6:30, I believe is when the next one is gonna be scheduled to discuss more issues, whatever they are wanting to bring up. But, Tommy said something to me afterwards about, well, do you think we need to look into this contract? And I said, well, I mean, they brought it up, so I guess we, need to do something. So he set to work, and you can see his letter here, and he's asked me to read it. It said, School Board Commissioners, after considering the following documents, there is a path to moving away from the contract with Lewis Group. I need you as a board to take the next steps to consider ending the contract with Lewis Group. If you as a board would pass a motion for me to end this contract, then I will write the letter once the motion is passed. We will give them the ample time stated in the contract and allow for any money owed to them to be discussed. I do not think much would be owed as the main portion of the approved work has been paid. Thanks, Director Tommy Arnold. And what he's actually referencing, he has an email here that is highlighted within your all's packet. And if you will look in the stapled contract, if you'll turn to Article 10, it doesn't really, I guess that's on, or Article 9, page 15, I guess this would be 16 then, 9.5, 9.6. So the email here from Tommy to the board lawyer, can you forward the signed contract by Langdon Potts from Lewis Group that is for 2 new elementary schools, then amended to include a renovation at Piedmont and a new Jefferson Elementary School? The question that the board wants to know is, are we still obligated to this contract from 4 years ago? If so, how can we get out of it, choose another architect? And then you can see up here, Mr. Bennett replied, per sections 9.5 and 9.6, the board can terminate for convenience upon 7 days written notice. The board would owe for services to date as well as any reimbursable expenses. How much work has been done by Lewis Group? And then Tommy replied, it'd be very minimal. I think we're about paid up for the scope of work that has been completed. So if you look at page 16 there in that contract, 9.5 says the owner may terminate this agreement upon not less than 7 days written notice to the architect for the owner's convenience and without cause. And 9.6, if the owner terminates this agreement for its convenience pursuant to section 9.5, or the architect terminates this agreement pursuant to 9.3, the owner shall compensate the architect for services performed prior to termination and reimbursable expenses. So what will need to be looked at and discussed later, or in the decision made, is what the director wants here: pass a motion to end the contract, and he'll write a letter once the motion is passed. So I kind of wanted to just give you that, what went down for everybody that wasn't there. And Marion had some real good notes on it. If you get to read it, go on Facebook there. Yeah, Coach.
We've been on Jefferson Elementary School since 2019, 6 years. And all we've done is talk. I've made several motions. According to what you just said a minute ago, a new Jefferson Elementary School is not possible, right? Is that your opinion, or?
Well, my opinion, I don't.
Okay.
My opinion is it's not possible because of the money. I don't think it's available.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the point of this deal with this contract for not wanting to build a new Jefferson Elementary School? The contract, why are we wasting our time on it? I think about everybody in this room knows we're eventually going to end up remodeling the school. I'm fairly certain of that. It's just a matter of finding the money. Well, there's been so many motions made of various degrees on Jeff Elementary School. One, we got it down to 15 million from county commission. You don't want to get much lower than that. You know, I mean, that's getting down there. Of course, we drained our pockets and to get there, and then of course the one that was made back in September, I think it was. Johnny made it. Then in November, we sent a request, budget amendments totaling around $10 million. See, I've been hearing over the years, why don't you maintain your schools, right? You've heard it, you know, why? Okay, so we put forward to the county commission, budget amendments totaling around $10 million to be spent on maintenance. Perfection Group at Maury, and you made Jeff Middle School and the light problem at Maury, so we went that direction. And I'm just really like a bird dog chasing my tail here, you know, what do they want us to do? Just come out and say it. I'm tired of being herded. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm being herded by a pack of, what are those little black and white dogs that
Border collie?
what?
Border collie.
Yeah, they don't give up. They're tenacious. So if they want to remodel, let's remodel. I mean, just tell us, what do you want? What will you fund? Let's go.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying. I just, you know, if we, even though Lewis Group seems to be sticking in the craw, even if we have another contract that would be close to what Lewis Group want, or certainly if it's any more, the money is still not there, according to them. What we would do, we'd be adding more time to resolving this situation. I mean, it's gonna take time to do the, you know, the RFIs, RFQs, interviews, get the bids, vote on the bids. Again, we could all be dead and buried. I mean, we've already been on this, well, not me, but, you know, Coach and Bill, you know, for what, 5 years? And we're no closer to getting it done than right now. I feel that at this point, you know, and I'm not saying this because I don't want to do school. I mean, if we had the money, if we were Anderson County or Sevier County and had all the money we needed, sure, I'd love to do school. But we don't. The fact is we don't. And we have so much we can put towards it. They say they have so much they can put towards it. I say we vote on what we can put towards it. It needing a remodel. Ask them what they can put towards it. If it's enough to do it, let's go with it. If not, we're back to the drawing board. Then I think we can look at this. I don't know, again, I don't know to what extent, to what end, because they just don't have the money. And they will, I have been told, they will not go into debt where they have to pay interest, because by paying interest, they have to raise the property tax again, or they have to raise the property tax again, you know, all, you know, what is gonna break loose. So, I said, I just don't see, I mean, I'd like to go back, if we could. If the Lewis thing was the only situation that was standing in our way, yes, let's move Lewis to the side and go on. But then we got the money issue. We still got the money issue. And I don't see that changing with rebidding a contract for a new school.
I gotta agree with Coach. I've been on it 5 years. We went to the county commissioners, I don't know how many times. We've asked for this. I'm like him. If they wanna remodel, let's remodel. Let's do something. You know, I've got 3 more years. In 3 years, I'd like to see something done at this school. I may die before then. Who knows?
I've got a good chance.
Well, I'll make sure you get it taxidermied and we'll set you up for it. I'm gonna, Coach, you hit the nail on the head there. Sometimes it'd be nice if people just said straight out, hey, we don't wanna fool with this bunch here. I was glad that the air got cleared for the most part at that meeting. I mean, and some truth being spoke, you know, what people felt about that, the money, other things. You know, I think, one of the things that was talked about was, you know, being able to give, you know, contribute a certain amount, and I can't remember that number, but then being able to, I don't know, sell a bond, something like that, and get a certain amount, and then without having to raise any taxes or do any, you know, any extra to the well tax. Of course, that's not gonna be on its second reading at the next, you know, county commission to pass it, so the well tax definitely coming back just to pull us back up. What the news fails to report, because they did not stay while we talked about Jefferson Elementary, is everything we're just talking about right here. They came in, they got the 23 million, they got the 27 million, they got a hot take from here and there, and then they walked out. They didn't hear what the county commissioners had to say, which is, I thought would kind of be the point, seeing, you know, so then we're drugged through the mud. It's your all's fault, your all's fault. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody just be mad at us, I reckon, but, you know, y'all have tried for however many years. You was trying when Danny come on. You know, maybe this could have been resolved a long time ago if everybody just, like Coach said, just said what they felt. So, the one thing with the contract I will say was that I kind of got the feeling, regardless of whether they, you know, we all went with the renovation or what, they wanted the contract terminated because I guess the word was, the county doesn't need to be hamstrung by the contract being brought back up, or, you know, whatever. So, you know, if we voted whenever and it went through to do a renovation, I think they still felt like they wanted the contract gone. Yeah.
The Lewis Group was selected twice for the 2010 remodeling of the high school and building of the Patriot Academy. We went through an interview process of 7 people, a board, blind numbering system. We turned our paper in, he added up the numbers, and the Lewis Group was selected that way. It happened again, Jeff Elementary. I mean, so what does the county commission want to do? Do they want to start interviewing the architects that we, you know, see what I'm talking about, what I'm looking at here? It's like we are doing something on the table. The Lewis Group went through the interview process. You all have gone through it to get the blank. You see, we done that twice. And those times, they were getting into all-nighters because there were a lot of people wanting that high school renovation, that Patriot Academy. Of course, we also interviewed and chose the coach, or hired them to do Mount Horeb, say, because of their plans. They had a set of plans ready to go, and we saved money on those set of plans. And so it's not like the Lewis Group is just, you know, we're giving them these jobs under the table. It's all above board. And the interviews are open to the public, and we score. And that's why I don't understand the need to get rid of this contract if more than likely we're not wanting to go that route. We've made so many motions. Yeah, I get it after a while. Okay, I'm slow. So, okay, by turning all those motions down, that tells me. But even right now, you know, the problem is inflation, things are going up, costing more. The first bid on that Jeff Elementary School was, I think, 19.5, 19.9. So now look what, 8 million, not 8,000, I wish, but $8 million more. So how are we saving the county money? That's what bothers me. I'm a taxpayer too. We all are, say. So, delays. And what really bothers me is that I know if you went to your orientation in Nashville, when you came on the board, Tammy Grissom, you know what I'm talking about, right? She ended the meeting when I went down there with one word. It was safety. The safety of your students. And at the end of the day, what we sat through, that's the one thing I brought home with me, safety. We have students, in my opinion, that are in a 100% safe building. And they've been in there for 6 years now when we finally determined with a needs assessment that it was the worst school in the county. Now, if we started remodeling this summer or building this summer, it's going to be 2 or 3 years that they're still going to be in that building. If we remodel and keep them in the building, wow, that's a nightmare right there. Now you say, well, we done it at Piedmont. Piedmont's a different school. And remodeling Piedmont and keeping the children was not. I think the principal could tell you that it wasn't the ideal situation. But it worked. And basically the remodeling of Piedmont, it's a new school now. And I was sure, you know, it looks new. If you took me in there today, you know, I mean, well, I've been there. And I've been there over years, you know. But that remodeling was what, under $12 million, let's say. And that's half the cost of remodeling Jeff Elementary. That ought to tell us something. There's a lot of work to be done there. A lot of work. And I don't know, what's the number now? I think it keeps going up, don't it? 23?
24.5.
24.5.
For the remodel.
Because we
To
added,
remodel.
we added in a project manager that Tommy asked us to have him put in.
24.5, and the bill is 27.3, 4,
Something like that, yeah.
huh? Right? So we're looking at probably what, $3 million? Now, you know, that's a lot of money, but for $3 million, we get a new school, and we're not rebuilding the money pit. We get 8,000 more square feet at Jeff Elementary that you don't get by remodeling. Now, I don't know how many of you drove around this county. This county's growing. There's stuff popping up everywhere like mushrooms. So, we're gonna need, probably before we get Jeff Elementary remodeled, it's not gonna be big enough. Now what we're gonna do? We're not looking in the future. Now, if it takes doing away with that contract that we went to so much trouble to interview those folks for, to get money to build new Jefferson Elementary School, then I'll vote to terminate that contract. If that's what it takes. We've heard the fairground. That's before you all even got here. That was one excuse that was used, right? Fairground. Well, we have another option. Now, I don't think we need to buy the whole 19 acres that they're offering at $20,000 an acre. I think the director said we needed 9 acres, is that correct? Seemed like, you know, get too many numbers here.
9 or 10 acres.
9 or 10. I'd go with 10, and, you know.
Just around.
And maybe we could negotiate with the hospital, you know, since we're a non-profit organization, you know, if business would be different, you know, they might cut us some slack. No, we've not got to that yet. And like I said the other night, I'm for the fairground. No, I have nothing against it. It is we have the land. So I guess I've talked too long, but I just had a lot of pent-up things I just needed to say. Tonight's a good time to say them. and we're not voting on anything, and hopefully we'll go out here friends, you know, I know we will, there's no problem, it's just business, we walk out the door on every one of you, by now, and, I don't know about Danny too much sometimes.
He's a tough one to read.
He lives way down the other end of the county. No, but seriously, those are things to think about, particularly right in that area, the remodeling numbers creeping up. Now, 27.3, an architect, you know, you were talking about 30 million, having gone through 2 building programs, when they give you a number of 27.3, we'll see, they put it out to bid, and then they give us a guaranteed maximum price, and it should be 27 for whatever they say it is, or 24, whatever. Guaranteed maximum price. Now then, what happens is that once we ask the county commission for money and they give us X amount of dollars, obviously we're not going back, right?
No.
No. Even I know that. So you have to make it fit. Exactly. So things fluctuate a little bit. You work in there, you've got a discretionary fund, or it has a name, slush fund, some people call it sometimes, in construction, you know. But I know down at the Patriot Academy, to make it fit, we had to cut out some parking spaces, which my argument when I voted for that, I mean, because freshmen are not going to be driving to school anyway, so we don't need a big parking lot. And it seemed like one, like a dressing room, and we're going to build a football field out back for the freshman football. And I think now they practice in high school, those kind of things. You tweak it a little bit to get it in. It has to fit that whatever we sell, whatever they sell bonds for. So if they say 24.5, then we get that. That's it. We got to make it fit. Yes, sir. Go ahead. I'm sorry about it.
I'll go.
Sorry, I'm not determined anymore.
I absolutely agree with you. You know, we gotta make whatever we do fit with whatever money we can get. I don't really know why we're even talking about the Lewis contract. Because if we go to them with the Lewis contract, they're going to turn down. So the number on the Lewis contract, the square footage of the Lewis contract, the very fact that it's a Lewis contract, to me, whether we terminate it or whether we just say that really doesn't address a renovation and that's the way we go, so it's not really material. I mean, whatever. If we looked to build a new school with a new architect, you know, folks, that's going to take another 8 months to a year to get even rolling, even to get to where we are right now. If we find out by requesting money from the county commission how much they're willing to give us, then we're going to know, like you say, what we have to stay within. All right? So the question is, do we want to take the time to go down the same path that Coach and Bill and Danny have gone down and still be at the same place at the end of that because the money's not there to fund whatever this new contractor and whatever they say a new school's going to cost? Or do we want to finally put this thing to rest, find out what they're willing to give us, find out what we can throw in the pot, find out if what will fit into that thing and get on with it? I'm more towards the thing of let's get on with it. I think the county, I think the students, I think the community is tired of hearing about this. We've got other things that they're talking about having to do new things at the dump because the dump is getting filled, the landfill. That's money that, you know, they're talking about their garbage trucks are starting to get old and they have a lot of things on their plate that they've got to deal with, just like we have other things on our plate like We still got these 2 HVAC projects we have to do at some point in the near future. You know, we have to keep the schools, you know, in good shape preventative maintenance wise. Things will obviously come up that we're gonna have to deal with. I'm saying, let's get this out of the way. Move forward. You know, I think right now we've got a new avenue of communication with the county commission. I think anybody who was at that meeting last Thursday, you know, felt that they were more open to us. They feel we're more open to them. They want to go forward together. So that's kind of what I have to say.
Well, I don't even know where to begin with all that. I'll start with the county commission meeting. Something I got from them, just like we all said, they know that with this contract, I think just knowing that this contract, Lewis Group is there, and we go with a new one, I think they're just gonna shut us down. I mean, I think that they know it's there. So if we go and, you know, we get rid of the contract, then we're right back to where we'll be here another year trying to figure out who we're gonna use, go through the whole process all over again. Even if they have the money, and it sounds like they don't have the money to give us. I'm a taxpayer too. I don't want my taxes going up. And if we decide to go new and go with a whole different group and they're okay with that, I think they've kind of already told us our taxes are gonna go up. Really, they said they really didn't even know how they were gonna come up with the money. But that was one of the things that they brought up was it could be the taxes going up. We'll kind of jump into these numbers that we've been kind of talking about here. To do the remodels, $23.5 million. That was pretty much all inclusive, everything. You know, another 4 million, just under 4 million, was the Lewis Group bid at 27.2. And after they sat up here and we got to ask them questions, and I went through a whole list of questions, does it include this, does it include that? Just the things that I asked, that number I already have it, just on 3 different aspects. About $29.25 million is what it's gonna cost us. I'm not into cutting things out. You start cutting things out of things here and there, you start shortening your parking lot. I mean, if we're gonna start cutting out a parking lot on a new building, you really getting what you want. I mean, people's big complaint about the existing building is the drop off in the parking lot. We're gonna end up with the same kind of situation there. I think what people really need to understand is that if we're talking about, like Coach said, safety, the kids' safety. And I'm gonna tell you, there's not a week that goes by. I don't know about anybody else. I get nasty emails. I get, the phone calls are even nastier. People don't wanna tell me who they are. They restrict their phone numbers. And they're not pleasant to answer, but I listen. And everybody keeps talking about the safety of the children, do what's best. The children are in harm. If people were really concerned about these children, then they would be for the remodel. Because if somebody thinks, and I don't think that those kids are in any danger sitting there. We've had different entities come in and check it out. If we do a remodel, the first thing that happens is the abatement. And those kids, and that happens over a summer. Kids go back in school. The abatement's done. If we do a new school, a new building, there's no abatement done to that old school. And those kids for the next 3 years are gonna sit in that school in this, what everybody keeps crying about, why they want a new school. They're gonna sit in the same environment. So anybody who tells me You gotta do what's best for these kids, and you build a new school. But to me, that's just a very selfish way of getting a new building. And, you know, that kind of stuff doesn't fly with me. I'm not for building a new school on the fairgrounds. I think if we end up buying a piece of property, you know, which I would be more in doing a piece of property if the hospital was settled, but right there, you're starting to add that number to that new school price, at $29.25. Well, by the time you buy this property and you go through all the legality of everything, you're over $30 million. And that's not with any kind of amendment of, hey, we gotta get this, we gotta get forward, I've looked at other contracts in the past here from Skanska. They add these amendments, $500,000 more, $500,000 for this, $400,000 for this. And like I said at the county commission meeting, we can sign into a new bill with Lewis, and there's, obviously, when you get told you're gonna build a county clerk building for $1.8 million, and it turns into 5.3, that concerns me using that. I would find it hard pressed to see why they could even double that from 30 to 60, but even if it's just $5 million, now we're at $35 million. County Commission's already said they don't have the money to make this even at 30 or 27.2. You know, I think it's time. I've been on here 6 months. I'm wore out over this in 6 months. I sat over there, I can't even imagine what you all have been through. But I'm ready to put this behind us and start getting on to things that we really got on here. And there's a lot of things that I want to work on, that I want to look at, and you know, we have a great school district here. And I think the more we keep working on just Jefferson Elementary School, it's just like maintenance. If you don't take care of something, it starts falling apart. And the more we keep concentrating on the Jefferson Elementary School, other things are going to start falling apart, or it will just stay the same. Where I want to elevate our school district. I think we have the opportunity to have the best CTE program in the state, and we're right on that verge. But we're not going to get anything done just sitting here debating this all the time. I think the county commission has already showed which way they would favor and what they'd be willing to do. You know, I'm wore out over this. I spend countless hours going over these numbers over and over and over. And, you know, I think people also need to understand that if we remodel this school, it's going to be right along the highway, and it's going to look good. It's going to be just like you go by Piedmont. It looks really, really good. It's not going to look like it does now. And, you know, I think that we would be doing ourselves an injustice to build a new school and then hide at the back of the property somewhere. So, yeah, I will say one more thing. One of the big things I keep hearing too is, how long will a new school last? 50 years. How long will remodel last? Oh, 25, 30 years. You'll get 25, 30 years if you don't do any maintenance on it. There's no reason that school still can't go another 100 years. We have buildings, this building right here. I promise you this is way, I don't even know when this thing was built.
Before the Civil War.
1852.
That's a lot longer than 50 years or 100 years. And you know, it's going to be on how we maintain our buildings. And the reason that school is not in good shape right now is because we have not maintained that building. So, I'll say what I have to say.
You know, I agree with everybody. I agree with Coach sitting here about, you know, we'd like to have a new school. Paul sitting here, you know, he don't disagree with having a new school. But we're sitting here and it's not really, not up to us. whether we remodel or whether we build a new school, it's up to the county commissioners of what money they wanna give. If they wanna give us the money to remodel, then give us the money and let's remodel. If they say, well, we're not gonna build a new school because the Lewis Group is involved in it, okay, I ain't got a thing against Lewis Group. Okay, then let's move them out and say, okay, how about this company? Well, we don't like this company either. Well, just what do you want to do? You know, what does county commissioners want us to do? Just like he was saying about the dogs chasing. I'd just like to know what they want. If they want to remodel, then let's vote it in and let's move forward. You know, we can sit here and talk all night long, but we're not gonna make that decision of what's gonna happen at that school. You know, yeah, I'm like coach for 5 years. We've sat here and went to them, I don't know how many times, we're willing to give this much money, if you're willing to give this much, and they turn us down. And then we start hearing, well, we're not gonna give you a penny to build a new school because Lewis Group is involved in it. Okay? And please tell us what you want us to do, you know? You got our hands, I mean, we're tied. So, I think our next step is asking county commissioners, what do you want to do and how much money do you want to give us to do it with? And let's go from there. So, I mean, we can sit here and talk until midnight tonight, but we're not going to get any further. So,
So prior to my time being here on the board, you said it was Piedmont that had the remodel for what, $7 million?
I think it was about 12 million.
Well, I think we'll
Just under
allocate
that.
12,
Yeah,
but we came in under budget.
Came in,
Okay, so, and it basically looks like a whole new school now, it looks nice. Okay. How much regular maintenance was done before that remodel took place? Was it regularly maintained?
You asking me directly?
I'm just.
You're gonna have to,
putting it out
you're gonna
there.
have to cover 66 years, because both of those buildings are old.
Mhm.
You look at that in 66 years, how many different school boards have sat here? So who you gonna point your finger at? Say,
The
we
question
gotta
is-
take care of now. We can't worry about what we've done in the past. We gotta clean the mess up.
Right, so we're putting out.
Simple as that.
Right now, so I'm just curious, you know, over that time, was the school maintained up to that point? Because what I hear, all over the place is that Jefferson Elementary was just neglected for
Well-
several years. That's what I hear. So when I'm looking at Piedmont and Jefferson Elementary, okay, so lack of maintenance on Jefferson Elementary, but Piedmont perhaps had maintenance, so it didn't require such a heavy remodel. So I'm just trying to understand, I'm just trying to, you know, I'm asking questions, I'm looking for information, you know, to get a
I can
perspective
answer your
on it.
question.
Piedmont's not half as old as.
Piedmont was a very small school. And the major part of the renovation at Piedmont was that center section in the old school. Out on the sides were additions that were done in the 70s and things like that. So, but you're looking at Jeff Elementary, most of that is the original school thing. So it's just a matter of time deterioration. So at Piedmont, those center, 3 classrooms, I think, along the front, and the gym and all that, I don't know what the enrollment was, but I'm sure Jefferson City was a bigger enrollment than Piedmont was back in the day. I think Piedmont was even older than Jeff Elementary.
I know in that study they did, they said it was the third, the school that was in the third worst shape of the, you know, Jefferson Elementary is in the worst shape. I think at that point they said White Pine was in.
No, at Piedmont, it was.
Was it Piedmont
Piedmont
number 2?
1 and 2, and that was the
Oh,
first
okay.
motion made was to build those 2 new
Right.
elementary schools.
Okay, so Piedmont was number 2 in worst shape. Okay.
Yes, they were. So it's just a matter of old age and you know, you get down to maintenance, it's a lack of money, you see, too. It's like we're sitting here now, you know, we take from our fund balance. I've made a couple of motions to use fund balance, it was tough, because I knew that we're taking away from maintenance. See, that's what happens. That's the way it works. You were mentioning the landfill earlier. I was on the county commission when that went on, and now I've got into this mess. That's not a mess, that's not a good word, is it? Turmoil. Here we go. But I will, you know, in 2013, we had a tragedy in this county that was avoided because there was no school. And that's when the roof collapsed at the high school. Okay? I got the call and I got out there. I was the first school board personnel there, which is not good. There were TV cameras there, and wanted an interview. But when I walked up and saw what I saw, I knew where those classrooms were. I knew how many people were in there. And they totally collapsed from that weight. And the only thing, I hope I don't cry here, the only thing I could tell those people on the news was we were blessed that we were out of school. Because there had been 30 kids to 40 kids who wouldn't have had time to get out of that, maybe they just crashed out. Now, why did the wall fall down? Because that wall was put up by 1975 code. Before we could occupy that again, we had to go every 4 feet and cut a slice in the wall. It cost a lot of money, about $900,000, just that one building. Put rebar in there and it poured concrete. And if you go out there, what I call building 8, but if you go out there now, you can see where they cut the slot all the way around today's standards. Now today's standards, that wall won't fall. But this is the code. Now, what are we looking at Jeff Elementary? What is inside those blocks? There was nothing inside those blocks. There was no concrete in there, no rebar, no nothing. And those walls are really tall. And that gym at Jeff Elementary concerns me for that very reason, because that is settling. And that wall is I don't know what the footage is, obviously it's the tallest part of the building. So it's a quandary. You know, I'm glad we're talking about it. And you know, I just I don't know. We could I can understand the county commission not wanting to borrow money and pay taxes, but this county's growing, folks. It's growing. I see it. I drive an awful out down 2570 out there at the county line next to Talbot, out in there all over. We're out here at the 417. There's apartments popping up everywhere. People have heard about us. They found us, I guess you might say, and moving here. Of course, over where I live in downtown Swansylvania, there's a lot of growth over there too. But most of those people, I would guess, living in gated communities don't have children. They're retirees. They've done their time and they've moved to a warmer climate. But you see a lot of, well, like we turn into Jefferson Family Physicians. There's a lot of houses in there for sale. Those houses are in the price range for starter homes. That's the ones we really need to look at. How many starter homes are we getting in this county? And that means children later on down the road. So, you know, what is it, 61,000 feet versus 77,000 square feet? You know, that 8,000 square feet may come into play somewhere down the line. And, of course, Jeff Elementary has what is it, 700 square feet classroom, is 6. Those are obviously going to probably remain. I don't think that I believe Mr. Blankenship maybe said, I don't know, that they couldn't be enlarged. But with a new school, everybody would have an appropriate size classroom. I need to quit talking.
Well,
I took the time off before I came.
to sort of start wrapping this up, I will say we did include when we were talking with the county commission, the director printed off, I'm guessing it, I believe started in 2020, all the maintenance and everything we've done, $34.5 million worth. And I counted stuff on there since I come in, and it was probably 5, 6 sheets, and there was 50-some things had been done since I had come on here. And I mean, that's, 2022. You can't say we ain't put money into stuff. I think, several people have hit on that. And it's gonna take more, that's something we gotta think about too. We can't throw every bit of our fund balance in, because you never know when something's gonna come up. We also, we were trying to, talk about our budget. Tommy said, 80-some-odd% of our budget is teacher and, paid for people. And we gotta get teachers by 2027 entry up to $50,000, state law, a requirement. So there's a lot of money issues. I mean, I think everybody from the small household all the way up to the federal government, I mean, that's what it comes down to. And maybe it'd been nice if we could have somehow got in on some of that stuff that Elon Musk is uncovering and sending all them billions and millions of dollars around, but that just didn't happen. So we're gonna have to do what we can, and whatever hand is dealt with us, we just gonna have to play it, I reckon. I mean, that's about the only way I see forward. I went in, I listened at this thing. I didn't, put my 2 cents in. I just listened and wanted to hear, and I heard. I mean, like I said, you can read Marion's notes that she put out there, very, very long, very in-depth, and you can see what was said. So, we're just gonna have to buckle our shoes and do something here, get something done. I'm like the rest of y'all, get this done. It's just been too long, and one way or another, and I appreciate everybody's discourse here, civil discourse. They gonna be mad no matter what. No school, somebody gonna be mad. No school on the fairgrounds, somebody gonna be mad. No school on new property, somebody not gonna like it. Old school setting not being used, somebody's gonna say something, and we ain't never gonna get everybody, but we gotta do something. So I'm hoping that we can put some sort of proposal out there, or whatever, and see if they'll move forward. So, is there anything else, school commissioner items for discussion? Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is a small one. Many of you may or may not know that the Jefferson County Chamber of Commerce sponsors and has our student leadership program. They have a yearly dinner that they invite us to. They did the same this year. I asked Rhonda who had signed up. I'm the only one so far who signed up from that. I think if they're given to us, we need at least kind of part the 5-year plan to partner with them and show them our appreciation by at least showing up. So I would throw that out there. I don't know all the details. Anybody who has Thursday night, I believe it's going to start at 5:15, and it's going to be at the Carson Newman Student Activity Center. I would encourage, we all don't have to go, but for just me to show up, I think is kind of a slap in the face. Not because it's me, just because there's not more of us.
Is that the student union, like with the pool
I believe
and all that?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be signs there when we get there.
Now, I had a previous commitment when we got that email about that, but I no longer have it. I have no problem. I actually think I'd enjoy going to that. And what time was that?
I believe it's 5:15, is it not?
I think so, yeah. Because they've got a reception, and then I think maybe the dinner's at 6:30.
Okay.
That's what.
But your ticket is paid for. The school system always buys a
Is that this Thursday?
this Thursday.
Doug, I appreciate what you're saying, but I'm dealing with my mother.
Oh, no, no, and I wasn't saying that to put anybody on the spot.
Wednesday and Thursday nights, I gotta deal with them.
All right, let's remember Paul's Building and Maintenance Committee meeting tomorrow, Mount Horeb,
4:30.
4:30. Next Thursday will be our regularly scheduled business meeting, 6:30 here. Any other announcements? Do remember those folks that when we have them on the silence, Bill and Tommy and John Neal, I'm sure they'll appreciate the prayers, so we are dismissed.